Hello everyone, Serious Game Scott back here. Sorry, I've had a ton of problems with this game. Essentially, when we were grinding, I was sharing some anecdotes with you, trying to pull that rock pile back. It actually takes quite a bit to be able to pull that back. Let me just show you some stats. I had, and the rock pile was blocking the bonsai plant that we were trying to get. I have my throwing skills up at 326. The maximum you can get in this game is 400. My strength is 235, and the reason for that is none of the hint guides actually say to use the grapple hook to get to the plant. They say throw rocks at it. Well, if you throw rocks at the mound of rocks, you actually can get an error that shows up. Now there is a way to get around that, fortunately, and if you turn the detail all the way down in that swamp area, that goo area, and you turn the speed all the way up, you can actually avoid the error. However, I kept throwing rocks, and I was all the way up to that level of skill, and it could not break the rock mound. So I don't know if there's another error that doesn't actually knock you out of the game, but just won't let you progress to the next step or not. But I finally was able to get the grapple hook portion of the work. You do need very high throwing, at least 300. However, if you have a 300 and you're not strong enough, it'll tell you you're pretty much not strong enough. So I guess through practicing the throwing and some of the other things, I got my strength up into 230s, which I think you need to have, and it finally did break that dam. And that pretty much gives you access to the bonsai plant. The only other thing you have to do is you have to climb up onto that ledge, throw the grappling hook down, and grab the bonsai plant. Not incredibly interesting. Did want to show you everything in the game. The only reason I didn't, because there were some errors, and then I was trying to show you the next step of the game, and unfortunately it crashed. There was another error, which I can get around. Hopefully we're still okay, but the only problem was I had oversaved the game that would put us back there with the right skill stats, and so I couldn't show you the portion of us getting the bonsai plant. Not that thrilling, but something unfortunately I couldn't really replicate, and we are going to proceed to the next step, and so I do apologize for that, but hopefully you didn't miss out too much. What we have to do now is we actually can't go back to Leshy right away. He'll just give us the same message we've already had the whole time. The good news for you is, because I was walking around and trying to find Leshy in the lake beforehand, I think I have a much better understanding of how the game works, or probably not how the game works, what the map looks like, so hopefully I can expedite our trip over to find our friend Leshy when we have to get there. But we actually have to make one stop first, and that stop is not here. Oh shoot. Alright, so I'll give you a chance to see the wyvern, what happens with that. It's actually interesting. Our stamina seems to start restoring itself through the midst of a fight, so that's good. But yeah, it's kind of cool. I didn't know you could throw daggers in close combat. I guess you can in this one. I'm not an expert in the combat system, so we do have an easy mode, which probably makes this whole a lot easier, which is fine. But I'll show you what it looks like, and we can just get rid of this guy, because they are quite annoying as they follow you around. So you can throw the daggers, and you can also attack once. And we had a lot of daggers. There's a lot to throw. I think the character has run out of throwing daggers, so we can't deal with that. Can't throw that anymore, but he did kill him. And just make sure we have all our daggers even after that. Yeah, so you don't actually lose anything if you throw the daggers in the close combat, but you do lose it if you throw it out here in the main screen. So this is Leshy over here, and we can't do anything. Up there's the graveyard. We'll check that out in a little bit. So there's Leshy again. It's the same story. I don't want to go through all this because it's a little bit aggravating. Yeah, I definitely disappointed that I lost the video too. I was just putting that much time into it, and also not being that interesting, and having to grind everything again, I don't think would be anybody's benefit. So okay, remember we saw this hole here, and there was a plant that needed to be put in there. Well, the plant is the plant and goo. So I thought you just talked to Leshy and he'll tell you how to do this. I guess you have to figure it out yourself to not only get the plant, but then to replant it here. You plant the bonsai in the hole and scrapes on the rich soil around it. In the moment, the bush begins to grow and blossom before your eyes. Very good. And the bush does actually begin to grow and blossom before our eyes, as was promised. So that's good. I am going to now proceed to talk to Leshy, and we need to be careful. There is one thing I want to show you after we talk to Leshy. We'll go back, and actually we will see one thing that would have been missed otherwise. But we are going to save the game. It's just something I wanted to make it so you could just get the full experience, which fortunately I was able to capture, at least in part, at least enough, save in a place where we could see, observe this, and hopefully that will add to the gaming experience. So I will get back to that in a little bit. Alright, so he is now playing a game. You cannot click on Leshy's bush unless you want to get an error. What you have to do is click in front of the bush, and that's actually the right thing to do. But if you click on his bush, you will get an error. So he taunts us, and if you can see, this thing's actually still there. So it's definitely something's definitely wrong in with the graphics. Oops! Hi there. 3 and 3 and 3 McNine, who lives amongst the watery brine. Fishy, squishy riddles make. Tell me now, who's in the lake? And he disappears, but just because he disappears doesn't mean you can't discuss things with him. So you don't want to say hello, and it's not Leshy, and you don't want to make a wild guess, or so it pretty much narrows things down. The guess is Rizulka. 1 and 2 and 3 make 6. Who hides her hut behind trick sticks? Magic message bushes here, and the rhyme with disappear. So that's actually your password to get there. So he's telling us about Baba Yaga, which you might remember if you have played the game, played at least the first game before. Is Baba Yaga is the ogress from magical ogress from the first game, who has relocated to our area to make a special guest appearance for Quest for Glory 4. So disappear is the hint we need to make it into her arena. Well, I did promise you that we would go back in time a little bit, and I will definitely do that. So let's go back to, I believe this is the right restore state. Yes. So as you can see, at night, when I was trying to do all the grinding and such, I went back to that town to sleep, and I encountered this situation, and definitely want to share with you. Not incredibly interesting, but it's definitely sort of one of the cool things about the game that shows you're actually in a real environment where you can, like in real world, you can miss things or miss people if you don't know what you're looking for, or just aren't being very thorough in the gameplay. And I think I discovered this the first time, one of the times playing this by accident, but it is a scheduled event, and so we will take a look. And yes, that person looks familiar, doesn't she? It is good to see you again. I hope you are enjoying your visit to Moldavia. You need to take better care of yourself, you know. It is very dangerous out at night. Why, you've been injured. Take this, and drink it. It should help. I would be most sorry, if something would have happened to you. Yeah, it doesn't sound suspicious at all. Okay, so that's good. We got a free flask at least. And let's... No one seems to be listening, so I guess we'll just go over and talk to her. Let's ask her about her name. You may call me Katrina. What shall I call you? Which you don't respond. Let's ask about Mordavia. The land of Mordavia is filled with unusual beauty and hidden dangers. Trust nothing here. If you are willing to stay alive, you will need to be careful. You need to be alert and careful at all times. Ask about a date. You wish to see me again, then? Perhaps we can meet here again sometime. I hope so. Let's ask about her home. I need to go now. I hope we can meet again soon. I enjoy your company. So, did my best with the young female voice, but that's what you're going to get from me. Before you can think to follow her, the young peasant girl has disappeared into the forest. Yes, so it's kind of a strange encounter, but we do know that, yes, her name is Katrina. I don't recall if she mentioned that beforehand. I guess one of the perils of doing this video spaced out pretty well is that you're not always sure what is taking place. Anyway, that's all we really need to see from this point of the game. I don't know if you gain points for that or if it really matters. I don't think it does for our purposes. I guess the only thing would be that we might not get some new dialogue if we run into her again, so I do apologize for that. It's kind of hard to balance everything with a very dynamic game like this, especially when we have so many things going on, but I will do my best to at least fill you in when Katrina shows up, and I believe there are multiple opportunities. In fact, if you don't progress during the game. I think it's kind of like Quest for Glory 1, where things keep going. Actually, like all of them, except for Quest for Glory 2, when you're on a tight schedule. Oh boy, so we have not rested all night, but we did take care of that. And I'm trying to think if there's anything particularly interesting we can do before tackling another large set of the game, and especially particularly dealing with exploring. I guess there are a few more areas. Yeah, we'll take advantage of that, and then next video I will decide. There's a few different routes we could take, and I will contemplate which way to go. Certainly an LP like this is a lot more difficult than an LP of some more straightforward linear Sierra games, where it's just kind of progressing on the same plot line. Whereas in this game, you can actually do address different portions of the game in your own time. Alright, we've already been to Rana's place here. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, if I go up, I can show you another area. And I believe we are almost there. Yes, okay, so go across this little brook, and the majestic mountains in the background provide a beautiful contrast to the grim gravestones and crypts of the cemetery. Yes, we are in what horror theme game would not have a cemetery? A heavy stone door seals off the Borgov family crypt. A relief carving on the door shows the crest of the House of Borgov. I wonder how many Sierra games have graveyards. Quite a few cemeteries. Quest for Glory 4, King's Quest 4, Quest for Glory 1. I think there's probably a few others that have. King's Quest 6 has the Underworld. I'm not sure if that has a graveyard per se. Spare coffins await their customers here. Spare coffins await their customers here. Apparently Igor has finally managed to get ahead of business. Well, that's good for Igor. The inscription on the headstone reads, Mikhal Med bumped his head in another man's bed. Now he's dead. Alright. Good advice to avoid bumping your head. This headstone reads, on a dare, Pasha Sperry spent the night in the cemetery. Something gave him such a fright that now he sleeps here every night. Hint, do not sleep in the graveyard. Arkantenna walked at night. Arkan saw his final sight. Now the question seems to be, what in the world did Tenna see? Tennessee, get it? Ho ho. Here lies the body of Carrie Nation, who answered a vampire's invitation. Now there's a cause for lamentation. It was a fatal recreation. Same thing. I'm sorry. Here lies the spirit of Barney Blue. To his lover was untrue, so she knew just what to do. Fix herself a Barney stew. I guess a warning to all gentlemen out there to be faithful to your loved ones, or you may end up in a stew. This gravestone is marked, no effort could Alyssa save. She passed into a watery grave. Her body was lost, only her memory remains. Well, doesn't really rhyme, does it? Here lies Janus, faithful forever to his lost true love, lay beside her empty grave. I see. Alright, well this actually has some relevance to the Rizolka, actually, and I'll mention that in a bit since we're going to close out the video soon. The inscription on the door says, House of Lege Po, may she rest forever. Well, let's just see if we can go in there. Oh, you can. Oh, what's that? Sheesh, that rotting corpse gave you quite a fright. Fortunately, it was just a dead body, not some sort of horrible undead creature. Those only come out at night, hint hint. Yes, so that actually scared the heck out of me when I played this as a younger man, as a teen or whatever I was at the time. Just that thing popping out and the game being pretty creepy overall to begin with and not knowing what to expect. That's also a hint that there may not be a rotting corpse, but something else waiting for you if you are playing this game, or pardon me, if it is nighttime in the game. So be careful about that. I would also, yeah, so let me explain a little bit about this. We will not don't actually have anything to do with this. The Paladin has, for anyone who, I'm going to end the video pretty much after this anecdote, so if you do not want to any spoilers about the Paladin, if you are planning on playing the Paladin or planning to watch Late Blade's video, you can, we'll walk around the forest too, but if you're planning to watch Late Blade video and don't want to hear it, then this is a good place to cut out, and I will see you next video. If you don't care or already know, but just want my explanation on a few things, those two graves, the Rizulka is a character in the game who is actually, who will appear. We're not going to see her, and I'll explain that again in a second, but you can actually, as a paladin, fight her ex-lover, the guy who drowned her. I believe his name is Janus, as we saw in the gravestone, in the graveyard, and once you do, you can free the Rizulka. Essentially, the Rizulka is a woman who lives in a lake around here. She is actually the spirit of a dead woman who was killed by her lover in a jealous rage, and I don't want to deal with that guy if I don't have to. Actually, we'll see if we can take him out. So anyway, in a jealous rage, I don't know if she spurned his affections or spurned his advances, were poisoned by the way, and so she dies, and her fate is to lure men to their deaths, and as it's actually kind of a tease for the, can I use, what do I have? I think I have the poison cure pills, yeah, let's use that. It's kind of a tease for the other characters because you can't really do anything with her. You can show her kindness and she's happy, and she won't try to kill you, essentially, though you can't actually go and over to her. But if you are the paladin, you actually have the opportunity to save her, and that's kind of a side quest. He's the only character who can do that, and it's kind of frustrating for another character because you think, oh well, I could missing out on a portion of the game, but actually you're not. It just so happens that that is only accessible to one character class, and that is all. We're probably going to want to get some sleep this time, so I'll make my way back to the town. But the reason we're not going to see Rizulka is I pretty much explained everything that has to do with her in the game, and therefore I don't think it's that imperative to say anything. If we were a paladin, then obviously I think it'd make more sense to pursue that route. We can't. This is the gypsy camp, but we'll come back later. Shoot. Go away. We allow no strangers in our camp. Leave immediately. Yes, so for anyone cut out, obviously don't know that they that we saw that, but we'll go back and deal with that later. You can't do much there now. Anyway, but as I was saying, the Rizulka is, it appears, I should say, very immodest in the game, to a degree where she is about as nude as possible without the game being labeled, I guess, an adult game or something. Just to keep the family standards when it's not that important to the game, I just don't want to show it. I don't really want to have it part of the LP. I know there's disagreement out there, but it's not that important. Trust me, you're not missing anything. If you want to type Rizulka, if you really want to see her scene, you can type Rizulka into YouTube, and I think you can probably find a version of somebody else going there, and you can see what it is. If you want to watch Late Blade, see, definitely being a paladin goes through the whole quest, so definitely if you want to see the whole game, the whole portion, you can check out those scenes and in various other areas. I'm not going to skip anything else. There's a few more objectionable areas, but not so much so that I'm going to interfere with the game. So we will not have that as an issue in the future or anything else. It'll just be that one scene, so please bear with me with that. And it just seems to go over the line, particularly based upon how I've orchestrated this channel. In any event, that is the story of Rizulka. That is what we had to do with Leshy in the Bush, and that is this video. This is CR Games Scott. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will be signing out. So until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again as we explore some other aspects of the game. Take care. Bye.